What's up, everyone? Today I'm going to go over how to use the Investor Accelerator tool, all the way from adding properties for the web, from the plugin, looking at the contact book, editing properties, generating offers, using the offer templates, marketing templates, the realtor gatekeeping section of it, the dispo page for when you get your properties under contract, actually the contract section, which is in beta right now, teams, and then the general settings of the platform. So if you're curious about what this is, give me the next 5 to 10 minutes and I'll break down everything for you in depth and get straight to the point. So let's get right into it. So when you jump into Investor Accelerator, you can go ahead and click on the property card on the left toolbar, and it's going to show you a list of all the properties that you're currently working on right now. The property card has an image, it has the address, it has a hyperlink to whatever the source of that property is. In this case, for this property at Zillow, it's got the estimated value, and if it's listed on market, that's the on market price. If it's not on market, this is the last value that's known by the data provider. You have the ARV, which is based off of comps. You have gross rents, which is based on FMR or Section 8 rents. Gross expenses, which don't include any mortgage fees, but are all the holding costs as well as taxes, insurance, and HOA. We have the date that the property was added, the status of if it's on or off market, if you've been contacted, or if you have contacted the realtor or the seller, and then the classification of the property. You also have buttons to edit, view offers, and a dispo section to track your properties so you can see how long the process you are with all of your deals. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a property. I'm going to click add new up here, and I've already got a property that I want to add. It is this one right here in Cleveland, Ohio. So all I'm going to do is grab the address, go back to Investor Accelerator, paste it in here, and hit submit. What it's going to do on the back end is it's going to grab all the data, like taxes, insurance, any loans that the property has, the realtor information if it's on market. It's going to bring it all into the Investor Accelerator system in your system, and it's going to generate the property card for it. It does have a red halo around it because it's still pulling data, so if we give it a second here, you should see that the value, ARV, and a couple other figures get updated. And there we go. So the value of the home is 340.34. Right there. ARV is 0. That means it was unable to pull comp, so we can retry that in a second. The gross rents are 1940. Gross expenses are 820. It says it has one loan. It says it's on market, not been contacted, and this is a duplex. So what we can do is we can click on edit, and we'll be able to see the details in the property itself. Estimated repairs is something that we can't estimate, but you have to do it based on the condition of the property. Looking at this, it looks like it's completely rehabbed. There are some small things like the carpet may need to be washed and just a couple scuffs cleaned up. So I'm going to estimate about $10,000, given that I don't know anything about the property. ARV we're going to leave at 0 because it's incorrect. Annual taxes are 2303. So I'm going to check if Zillow has the tax information in here, and if it's correct, we can keep it. 2304. That's pretty correct. Insurance is 548. That is an estimate. Insurance will never be able to get it accurately. No data provider can. HOA, I'm going to say it's 0. You have additional fees here: light, heat, water, sewage, trash, inspection, and additional fees. And these are monthly retained fees with the exception of additional fees, in case you want to put that in and use that number for cash flow. Then you have property management, vacancy, and capital improvements. These are your holding costs. The number of units is 2 because this is a duplex. Total bedrooms 4, total bathrooms 2, so you know it's a 2-1. And then here you have the breakdown of the units with the rent, so you can get your cash flow or your gross rents. FMR for a 2-bedroom is $970 in this area. You have 2 of them. That means your rent is $1940. So we have the street view photo, but I can also add a new one. If I go back to Zillow and just right click on the first image that I see here, copy image address, I could go here, delete this street view one because it's not that nice, and I can go ahead and input the image up here. I can add a watermarked and a non-watermarked version, and the watermarked version will come in play when we end up dispoing the property. Then I can scroll down here. We have the realtor information. So it looks like I got Antonio Biasoda, Antonio B at kw.com, and this is the phone number. I'm going to double check that information on the Zillow listing. Antonio, that's correct. Antonio B, that's correct. If I do Control F, 44, it looks like that number is a little bit different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this number, and I'm going to paste it in here, and when we hit save on the property, it's going to update Antonio's record with this extra phone number, so I have it there. Now it looks like it pulled in a loan as well, $380,000, 6.75% interest, 240 months for the term, started in 2006, ends in 2026, so it has only 19 terms remaining, and it has an estimated payment per term, or per payment, of about $2,800. This means that this will be a sub-2 strategy that we can probably leverage, may be able to offer them a walkaway on this property itself. I'm going to just add that it was a fixed rate mortgage and update it. And then it looks like it does pull comps, but the price per square foot on this property is not there, which is why I was unable to do it. So I'm going to go over here, Zillow doesn't have price per square foot, so I would need to find that from another data source. And I found that the living square foot is $16.50, so I'm going to go ahead and save that there. What I'm going to have to do now is update the comp, so what I can also do is just remove any of the ones that are not accurate. Duplex, this is a triplex, that's not going to qualify. This is also a triplex, that's not going to qualify. And that gives us an updated ARV of 251,645, which is much lower than the actual price of the property, which means this property is overpriced. Given that it is a complete rehab and it is turnkey, it may be justified, but it just depends. After that, we can look at the crime map. So I click on view crime map and I'll be able to see what's going on in the area. Luckily, there are no shootings. There are a bunch of assaults. There are a bunch of other things. There are some burglaries, some theft, and some vandalism. No shootings. This overall means this is a good area. I would probably invest here. You can add any acquisition notes. So if you hop on the phone with the realtor or the seller and you want to take any notes, it can go over here. Dispo notes for when you decide to dispo the property, go here. And then I'm going to save the property, make sure all the values are updated, and I can finally move to the next section, which is creating the custom offers. So the system generates me standard offers based on the offer templates that I have in my settings. I'm going to jump over to there really quickly. If I go to settings and I go to platform, I'll be able to look at my offer template. So I have a cash offer at 50% discount, DSCR with a 20% discount, 7% interest rate, 360 months, seller financing and sub 2 with 20% discount, 10% down, 0% interest, and 360 terms, and it translates across here. I can create as many of these as I want for the different kinds of strategies, and every property that I add into the system thereafter will have those generated, granted that they are the right and compatible offer type. For example, if it has a loan, you will see subject to, you won't see seller financing, but subject to does have the ability for a hybrid situation to where you can do seller financing against the equity. So I can use my standard templates, as many as I want, to get an idea of what the offer is going to be for this property. For example, if I wanted to do cash, then my 50% discount on the property listed at $340 is going to be $170. My wholesale fee is set to a minimum of $10K. That again is in my settings. Realtor commission 3%. Closing costs 3%. This is because it's on market. 0% for me as a buyer. 3% closing costs because I'll have to pay that as well. You can see the monetary value of what each party has to bring to the table. You also see the seller's closing table expenses, the buyer's closing table expenses, what the seller walks away with, the total cash invested by the buyer, the cash flow monthly, annually, and the cash on cash, including and excluding repairs. So this becomes the metric table that you follow when you determine if you want to acquire this property and if it's going to be good for you to wholesale based on how it will translate over to your end buyer. I can go ahead and click save. If I made any changes, I can go view another one. So I look at sub 2 this time, and what you get up here is known as the bluff. It's the bottom line up front. You get to see basically a mathematical version of your offer. The gross rent is $19.40 minus the gross expenses, which are all of these holding costs right here. Total fees, capital improvements, vacancy, property management, HOA, insurance, taxes are the sum, which is this estimated expenses excluding the mortgage. That's that $819. You have the original mortgage payment because this already has a mortgage on it, which is $28. That's already higher than the gross rents, which means that this is not going to be an investment friendly one, but this could be for an end buyer. And then you have the seller financing note. Now the term is set to 18 because the loan expires in 18 months. You could extend this out to 360, and now that neutralizes and the cash flow is still negative just because of that original loan. I can set the down payment as whatever I want. Interest rate is whatever I want. If I want to do a balloon payment, I can set the terms here. So I can say 60-month balloon. And at the end of 60 months, I would have to pay $167,000 to fulfill that balloon payment. I could also do a down payment with the loan. So if I wanted to put this, if I wanted to do sub 2 and I didn't have $22,266 for the down payment, I can do a down payment assistance through a loan from someone else. I could say the amount is anything lower or equal to this value. I could say that the interest rate on this is maybe 5% interest, and then the terms are 360. And what that does is that gives me another monthly payment that gets added to here, and that will affect how the cash flow looks on the property. If I don't want to do that, it reduces that price, it gets rid of those figures, and updates. I also see my fees here, same stuff over here. All the offers have the same things. Based on the type of offer, you may see something different. DSCR, for example, will have lender requirements. Since DSCRs have lender requirements, a specific lender may not do it if the loan value is a specific value or if you don't put enough down. So you'll see different fields here that are corresponding to that. Then I can click compare offers, and I'll be able to see all the offers side by side. Everything in purple is something I have marked for cash flow under $600. That is a custom setting that I've set. Same thing here for the buyer's entry and the cash on cash. I can determine what I want to send out to the realtor or the seller, and I can determine what I want to be shown on the seller's offer page. So there are two things that happen. You can generate an email, and if I click on one of the offers, I can only select one at a time. I can click send offer link via email. I can choose the recipient, Antonio B, choose an email template that I have in my settings. This is that email template. I can process the variables. What it's going to do is it's going to do all the replacements for this specific one. So I have this offer cash. It's going to put in the values that I had for cash. So my 50% off discount for a $340,000 home was $170. That is the offer cash offer price here. The EMD deposit date is 1 day after inspection. EMD amount was $100. Inspection period was 10 days. And then I can have other things in here like the address, for example, Antonio's name. I have recipient first name, recipient last name, and this allows you to make dynamic and quickly editable templates for you to be able to put into your system and to send out to these realtors and sellers when you have your conversations. It also allows you to customize the subject. So every email that you send out doesn't have to be the same subject. You can say cash offer for address, and then when it's a DSCR one, you can say DSCR offer for this address, and this allows you to ensure that you don't get blocked by Google when you connect your Google account here. If I'm satisfied with that, I click acknowledge and hit send, and that email gets sent out to Antonio. Or I could do something different, which is I can select which offers I want to present, and I can click on this view seller offers. It's going to pull up a page that is going to be viewable to the realtor, to the seller, and to myself. And when you first send it out, because it is on market and notices that there is a realtor, this is going to prompt the realtor to enter the seller's details in here. This is the entire process that we've developed to prevent the realtor gatekeeping. What we've noticed is that when we send our offers to realtors, they don't present it to the seller. This ensures that this does not happen. So when you send that email out with this link, they won't be able to enter this access code, but they'll be able to enter in the seller's information. When the realtor enters the seller information here, they are forwarding and revealing the offers to both themselves and then forwarding the email to the seller. They don't get to see the offer straight away though. The email that gets sent to the seller includes this access code, and there is a section in here that the seller will need to implement it in. What we do is we say you have to forward the email to the seller, and the seller has to grant access into the website. If the realtor forwards the email to themselves, we are able to track that, and we know that they are sending it to themselves. They will get blocked out of it. It'll reset the cycle. They'll have to re-enter the seller's information again until they get it right. And if they do send it to the right seller and they access it, then the realtor can also see that offer. When the realtor does eventually forward that email to the seller, this is the page that they will see. They will be able to see 5001 Tillman Avenue, or whatever the address is, and the seller will then be able to take this code and go ahead and dump it in here to verify, and it will reveal the offers that both you, the seller, and the realtor can view. When I see them here, it's cash, traditional, subject to. That is based on these checkboxes. So if I get rid of all of them and I only say DSCR, it updates in real time. Now it is a traditional financing offer. If I get rid of that and only say cash, it updates real time. So now it's a cash offer, $170,000. I can view all the details. See cash, $170, 10 business days, 1 day after inspection, and $100 EMD. The seller will be able to accept, counter, or not do anything and choose another offer altogether. The realtor will only be able to view it, and you will also be able to view it in this view as well, just so you can keep tab of things and make sure that the process is streamlined and moving along. So you can go ahead and select all of them here. You can send out the email, whatever it is you do. The idea is that you use this web portal so everything is automated. They can come over here and they can click accept, and it will move to the next process. So I'm going to go ahead and click accept on the cash one. And as you can see here, because I'm logged in as the wholesaler here, it is already presenting me with the initial dispo page. This is the page that will show me all the details based on the offer that was accepted. So this offer that was accepted was cash. I have to go in and complete a couple more details on the dashboard, but you're already seeing where it's coming to look like. And then more importantly, as an admin, you can click this view logs and you'll be able to see the audit history of who views this. So when you get to a point where a realtor is gatekeeping you, it will track that. When you get to a point where a seller enters the code, you'll be able to know when they did that, what time they did that, and you'll be able to track everyone who views this page so you can have visibility on it and you can use those metrics to better improve your business. Now, before we move to the other section, I want to show you one other way in the system that you can add a new property. We discussed the add new button over here, but another way you can do it is by using our Chrome extension. So if I go to another property here, 6846 Ottawa Road in Cleveland, Ohio, and I go to our Chrome extension and just click on the page, click on the little icon, what it will do is it'll start processing it, and it'll grab all the details of this specific property. It will give you a visual of what the property card will look like. It tells me the value is 18870. It can't get comps because there are no comps for this property on this page. It tells me that the mortgage is about $1,280. The gross rents are $1,280. The expenses are $1,285, which is this right here. It tells me it's off market. It tells me it's not contacted. These are all details that will update once we actually pull it. So what I'm going to go ahead and do and say add address, and it's going to process it. It can go out of the pop-up right here, go back to the dashboard. I may need to refresh the page, and when I do, we will see 6846 Ottawa Road being populated in here. And it's already done. No red halo. It's got all the details. It's missing the ARV, which means comps aren't there. But it's got the list price. Oh, look, there we go. It updated, actually. So it says the estimated value is $69,000. This is the last known value. Chances are this property just came on the market. No, it didn't. 69 days ago. So the value is inaccurate. They're asking 188. We can update that here. We see the ARV is about 86 in the area, which means they're over asking at this list price. We can see that the gross rents are that much, the gross expenses are that much. It is off market because that's how the data provider pulled it to us, not contacted, and single family residents. So the whole point is that you can use this Chrome extension. This works on Zillow, it works on Redfin, it works on Batch Leads, and it works on Privy. Other platforms will be coming soon like PropStream, PropWire, and a couple others. Now let's say that you got Tillman under contract, you got the offer accepted. You can see that here. Accepted cash 170. Now what you could do is on the left toolbar you can go to your disposition section and you can actually go find that property 5001 Tillman. You'll be able to see all the details of that property here. You'll be able to see the offer that was accepted, so cash, you see all those details here, and then you can actually set up your disposition metrics over here. So we're going to take it one step at a time. Dispo strategy, you can either choose bid or fixed price, and this allows you to make a higher wholesale fee than you would have if you just did fixed price. When you do it as bid, you set your minimum reserve price, which is what you got the offer accepted for, including your wholesale fee, and then you set an increment of maybe like 1,000, for example. So if anyone wants to offer up 185,200, they wouldn't be able to because the minimum bid increment is 1,000 from the lowest price. The bid expiration is how long you want to have this bid going on for. So I could say up to the 13th at 11:30 or maybe even 12 a.m. midnight, and then that saves it there immediately. That will change how the dispo page is going to look. Now, before I can see it on the dispo page, there are a couple other things that we need to do. We need to select the image selection option. This is if you want the non-watermarked or the watermarked images on the dispo page. I'm going to say watermarked because I want to protect my page and make sure that no one can reverse image search, and we'll go over that. You can add a walk score, so I'm going to enter some random figures in here. And then you can enter any kind of description, climate risk report, POI, any of that good stuff. Disposition notes. These are notes that your disposition page will have. So seller is selling as is, for example, would be one of the notes. I can go ahead and click out of that, and then I can go to SEO. SEO description and metadata are going to be helpful when marketing the property. So I could say this is a beautiful home in the heart of Cleveland, Ohio, and I can just say the same thing over here, but this is just the description. And once I have all of that, I'm going to hit save. It's going to update it in the system. I'm going to go back up here, make sure all my other numbers are good, check my offer again. The offer price is $170, the wholesale fee is $110. My total cash invested is $195. $18510 over here is what the value we should see on the offer page once we open that up. So I'm going to click on view public property report, and it's going to open that up. It's going to be the same page that we saw before, but this time it is going to be updated with all of the new details. So 170 is what I got it for. It would have shown 185 because of my wholesale fee and because of all the other fees, but because we implemented the bidding system, instead of showing the price, it shows the bid. Now what I can do here is I can enter my details in here, and I can say bid amount. So if I wanted to say, for example, if I go over here, my bid increment reserve is 185,100. If I wanted to say 185,100, it will not let me do that because someone has already bid higher. And so I have to do 1,000 more. If I do 6, it's still not going to do it, but if I do extra dollar, then it will start taking that. And then I also have to upload proof of funds, so I can upload proof of funds, make sure that my buyer is a real buyer, and then once they do that, they can submit it. And what you will see on your end is on the top of this page, you will see a drop down over here of your list of buyers. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fill this out myself. I'm going to add an image. I'm going to add an image of that home right there, and I'm going to hit contact now. It's going to say please wait. It's going to start sending that information. It's also going to send you an email saying that you have a new buyer for this property. And already it shows you on this page, but it'll also show you on your main page over here, Mithil Patel, my email, my phone number, the amount that I bid on, and then the proof of funds. When I click on it, it shows me that image. If you upload multiple images, it'll show there, and then you have a date timestamp of when that person did it. And so what I can also do is I can take this link in an incognito window, and given that it is not on the same network or in the same place as the seller, I'll be able to see that public link. They will only see the details that are required. They won't be able to right click on this page. They can drag this image up here, and what we're going to do is we're going to do a reverse image search to see if we can find this property. So I'm going to right click on it, search with Google Lens, and if I can pull up the address, then that means I have a problem with this property. And it looks like this looks very similar, but I don't see it. And this is in Cleveland, Ohio. I got Milwaukee, Wisconsin, South Bend, Indiana, Kansas City, Missouri, Lebanon, Tennessee, Indianapolis. I don't see Ohio. So that means I can't take this and I can't go reverse image search it and try to get this deal under contract. Whereas if I use the original property, open it in a new tab, for example, and then right click, search with Google Lens, this will pull up the Cleveland, Ohio address, and then I could have a deal thief come and see my listing and then go try and take it. 5001 Tillman Avenue. It's the first listing there. So you can already see the power of the watermark and the power of us restricting the right click to prevent people from doing that. Unless you're a little bit more tech savvy, you'll be able to find a way, but that watermark still protects you. Now, for every property that you add, you're going to have interactions with sellers, with buyers. Eventually, you'll have interactions with contractors, MLOs, inspectors, all that good stuff. And all of those people get added into your contact book over here. So if I click on contact book, you're going to have a list of all the contacts that you've interacted with over the course of whenever. That last person that we just talked to was a realtor. Let's go find that realtor. Antonio Biosada, he's right here, Antonio B. So his information showed up. I'd be able to refer to him later if I needed to. If I ever, like, what is Antonio's phone number? I don't remember. I can go to my contact book. I can click on realtor and I'll be able to find him there. The next section is our marketing templates. You kind of saw this when I was sending out my email offers, but here I can go ahead and set up email offers over here. So I can name this one. I can say what type of offer it is for. It's cash, subject to seller financing, or DSCR. You can set the template, a description, and then here's the actual body of it. And then I can go ahead and also add in custom system variables. So let's say, for example, I made a cash offer and I wanted to put in the price. I could just click in here wherever I wanted to, go up to the system variables, go to offer, go to cash, because this is a cash template. I will only see cash, and then go find the offer price. And offer price is right there. And what it does is it inserts that variable in here. I can hit save, and then every time I process this variable, when I am ready to send out my email, I can see here, it will go ahead and inject the actual value for the property in there. So everything is super dynamic and you're not doing this one at a time. I can create as many marketing templates as I want. I can do it for any of the 4 offers that we have. When new strategies come out, new offers will also come out. For example, if we do a mortgage wrap strategy, or if we do a reverse wholesaling strategy, that one will be implemented in here. So your emails can also be curated towards that specific offer. You get a section for notifications. If there are any notifications, like we just saw in the dispo, I accepted that offer. I get a notification in the system saying a buyer is requesting to connect in regards to that property. If I click view here, it opens up that page. I get notifications of issues from the system. I get notifications of offers that are accepted or rejected. Anytime I add a property, for example, this one, it looks like it was like a piece of land or something that is just very unique, and the property couldn't be created, details couldn't be found, not enough information was put, so you don't get that data, and we notify you that it couldn't happen. You also get information about teams. So anytime you join a specific group or a team, you'll get notifications about that, which leads us into our next section. So you have a team section over here. You can invite people to your team. I got invited to this one team by Neil for this person and this JV team, and I can choose to accept or decline. You send invites by their email, so you send them an invite here and they become your partner first, and then you can create a team on in the system, invite that partner to your team. And if I go to this one, for example, these are the teammates, myself and Dev, who is my acquisition manager. I can then click on myself and I can assign myself specific ones. Because I own them, I wouldn't need to, or I can click on Dev and I can assign him some from my account. And what happens is any of the properties that I have here, he does not need to add into his account separately. He can just get a copy of, or a reference of, my properties, and any updates he makes, given that he has the right permissions, he can make them on his end, and I will see those changes here. That goes for property details, that goes for offers, and that goes for anything on the dispo side, which will allow you to scale up your operation if you have a full team, because you can bring in people like acquisition managers or dispo managers, or you can just be the team lead yourself, and you can start assigning different properties to people so they can do the work for you, and all you do is take a managerial role. Then we have settings. Over here you have your personal settings, your name, phone number, email. You have a profile picture that shows up on the disposition page as well, so you want to make sure that's a proper image. You put your password reset over here. You get your subscription details. So I have about 500 credits. I've used 24 of them, and I have 466 left. You get an audit log of all the credits that you've used. I'm in an admin account, so the numbers don't add up exactly. Here it says I have 290, so this actually adds up to 290. I've been editing stuff, but you will see a full audit log of all the properties that you add based on the credit that you're using, and this goes for properties, this will go for contracts when contracts rolls out, and then this will go for jobs when you do jobs, so you can also track which property and which credit they were used against. You have a referral section, so you can refer people. If you're a partner, you can get them a 7-day free trial in the system. If you're not a partner, you can refer someone and get an extra 20 credits. That means 20 more properties for you to do research on, which is going to be super valuable if you're looking to increase your inputs and try to get more offers submitted and more deals closed. You got a billing section, so this is where you can actually come in and change your plan or subscribe to a different plan. You can see all the differences that we have here. We have all these unique features like the stuff that we just went over: custom settings, custom templates, email marketing, teams, contracts, and we have stuff coming out in the future. It doesn't get supported on our base plan, but on our bronze plan and up, you get that with the increments of how many properties you can actually research. And some of this stuff like AI calling and texting will not be equipped on our bronze and silver plan, but they will be on our gold and diamond, so keep an eye out for that. And then you also get integrations. Here it opens up a separate window. This is where you connect your Gmail account and where you will connect your contracting software. We're not using DocuSign. This is going to be a different software. So when that time comes, if you have an API key, you can connect it up here. Connect Gmail through your OAuth flow. So you select whatever Gmail account you want, you click connect, it'll take you through that flow, you go ahead and accept it there. And then finally you have platform settings, and this is where all those settings that we were discussing come in. So property management, vacancy, capital improvements, they're shown as percentages as opposed to currency. My standard JV fee is 10K minimum, so every property I add, every offer that is generated will generate with a 10K JV fee. Every offer will also have a standard realtor commission for a seller, closing costs for the seller of 3%, and the buyer's realtor commission will be 0 because I'm unrepresented, and my closing costs will be 3. This is my default inspection period, EMD delivery date, EMD amount. This is standard for all of them, although you can change them directly in the offer if you want to. Then you have the threshold colors and the threshold values, and this is shown when you compare all the different offers in the table. So if I go over here and click on view offers, I can see the color right here and my thresholds, and that's what happens when these pop-ups show up everywhere. So those are what those values are. And then I have default text put on different pages, so that seller display page header is what the seller will see on the offer page, and the display page message. If I go over here, click on view offers and compare offer, view that page, pull it up over here, you will see that if I unaccept the offer, this is the header and this is the body. If I go over here and to my settings and type in some random garbage right there, and then I type in a bunch of numbers over here and hit save, it is going to update that. And so that allows you to overwrite your visuals from what the seller sees in case you want the messaging to be a little bit different. I'm gonna go ahead and accept that back again. And then you have your offer templates again. Like I said, you can create your different offers for cash, subject to seller financing, DSCR, set your friendly name, the discount, the rate, the term, the down payment, all that good stuff. And for every offer that you generate in your system, they will translate across there. Now, the final part of Investor Accelerator right now is contracts. This is still in beta. It's not fully launched on the platform, but it is very, very close to being done. So I'm going to give you a preview of that anyway. You'll be able to come over here to the contract section, click on generate new contract. You could enter a title. So let's say this is purchase and sale agreement for XYZ property. And then you can select from a template that we already have. Right now we have a couple. We have a general residential one, and then we have one for every state. This one will add the rest of the states in here, but let's say you're doing it in Texas, for example, and you want a Texas-specific contract for purchase and sale agreement of a residential property. You could go ahead and select that, and then all you do is you search up a property in your system. So I'm going to just do 1052 Gears Avenue, Columbus, Ohio. Obviously, it's a different template, but what it will do is it will pull all the details of the property that you have in your system, and it will pull the mapping details for the contract. Here I'll be able to add my recipients, so I'll be able to say myself is the wholesaler recipient and Moshi Mirachi, who is the other person. I'll be able to put their email in here. They don't have an email, so I'm going to put in one of my other ones so I can simulate this. And these are now the 2 recipients. I also have the contract placeholders here. So what I can do is I can say the contract effective date is going to be today. I'll select the mapping. I'll choose between property, recipient, user, offer, date, and time. I can say date and select today as the 4th and insert that value. Or I can just type it in. The buyer's first name is going to be me, so I could type in my first name, Mithil, or I can do buyer 1 last name, select mapping, choose user because I'm logged in, and last name, and I get my last name Patel. I put that in there. There's no buyer 2, so I would omit that. I could say NA, mark as NA, or I could just leave them blank. It doesn't have to be a value in there. My buyer's mailing address, I could say 123 Main Street, and I'll just leave it at that. And then seller's name, select mapping, recipient, realtor's first name. So it looks like we have the realtor and the seller. I'm going to say seller, Moshi, and then I'm going to go back to the mapping, seller's last name, Mizrachi. And that is seller 1 first name, seller 1 last name. Omit these ones. Omit the mailing address. I'll say classification other. You will sometimes think about what these values mean. We'll have a placeholder here, or this description here should justify what this this field is going to be. When I go down here, you can kind of see it in more detail for some of them. Like property contingency date is if the buyer's performance under this contract is contingent upon the sale of another property, enter the days from this contract's effective date for which it shall be contingent upon. There are specific things that we do in our contract, and these fields are just the stuff that we need you to put in there. So I'm going to add in a couple more here, and then we're going to generate a preview so you can see what it actually looks like. I'm going to do property address, select mapping, go to property, find address. That's the full address. I'm going to hit enter value, and then we're going to go to the actual price. So property purchase price text. This is the purchase price written as text. Select mapping, go to offer, find the one that I want to select, so cash, and then I'm going to say offer price, where it is right here, 13500. I can set that as text, I can set it as currency, a percentage, or I can set it as numbers to text, and it converts it from 137,500, so 137,500 to 137,500. I can say insert that value, and it inserts it there as text. Then I can do the same thing for this one, but I want to say this is currency, and I can insert it there. We'll do a couple more. Closing date, let's say I want to do another date. This time I want to do in the future by 2 weeks. Insert that value. Closing time, so let's say that the closing is at maybe like 12 noon. I could say 12 o'clock right there, all the way at the beginning, or I could just type it in again, 12 o'clock p.m. And then addendums, let's say that there's no addendums, there's no additional terms, and we're good here. So I have all these details filled in here. I can go ahead and hit save as draft. And what the system is going to do is it's going to put it in our contract software, and it's going to generate a preview for you to look at once you're ready and once it's ready. So it's going to scroll down here. There you go. There's that preview. Buyers, it looks like it didn't get my first name in here, so I'm going to go up here. I'm going to go ahead and select it again. User, first name, insert that value. I'll actually just delete it and do it again just to be sure, and hit save draft again. It's going to reprocess everything, regenerate the preview. If it doesn't update, it's something still wrong, and I got to fix that, but there you go. Buyers, Mithil Patel 1, buyer 2, empty, Moshi Mizrachi, and this other one empty. Then you have these fields here which are clickable, so you'll be able to click them because it's a little bit more complex than just a regular contract. You have the street address, which we added. Earnest money over here, we didn't do anything for that. We didn't do anything over here. We did do a sale price, so if there's a sale price somewhere, right here, 137,500, and also 137,500. So it added that sale price as text and dollar value into the contract. Let's say that you're good with everything and that you're satisfied with how this looks. Then you can go ahead and say, yes, I want to send the contract up here. Click send. Are you sure you're ready to send out this contract? You have to confirm that all the emails are correct, who you're sending it to, and that you are sure that if this contract gets signed, you're prepared to actually enforce this contract. So I'm going to hit agree and submit. And what that's going to do is it's going to send the contract to those 2 recipients. I put my emails in there for both of them, so we're going to see how it looks like once I actually get that contract. And so here's that contract. It is the purchase and sale agreement for XYZ property. That was the title that I put. I can go ahead and click view and sign. It's going to open up that contract here. I can see a demo version of it because it's in the demo account. I'll see my name here, and because I'm the first signer, myself, the person who is dictating the terms of it, I will be able to select the different drop downs, the radios, and the checkboxes. So this is a single family home. The earnest money is going to be required to be placed in a separate trust or escrow account. This is a all cash offer. Blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to say this, blah, blah, blah. Go ahead and do here. I'm going to basically do all the required fields. There are nothing here. And I'm going to then go ahead and put a digital signature here and hit sign. And that has now been me signing the contract. I've dictated the terms, and now the second and any other recipients will now receive their copies of it in whichever order they are deemed to receive it. So if I pull up that email over here, here's that email first. So you can see Moshi Mizrachi, here's your contract ready to sign. Here's that contract over here. I see the details. I also see that the pre-populated fields have been signed by me. So I've already put them in here. It is an all cash offer, blah, 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 blah. December 4th, and then I'm going to go ahead and sign it, and I'll be done with this. And now I'm done with it. But what you can see here is that it actually says complete because the data is directly being sent back to the system. So as one contract gets received and another one gets received and all of them are complete, then the stages update in the system and you'll be able to track it. And you can also track it on the property page. And so here's that property page. If I go over to view more details, which is not currently in the system right now, but it's because it's part of this new update. If I click on view more, I'll be able to choose from here contracts. I'll be able to choose a contract here. It will show me any logs, so I'll be able to see, okay, contract was signed or sent to Mithil at this address. I viewed it, I signed it, then contract was sent to Moshi Mizrachi signed it, viewed it, and then signed it, and then the final contract that was signed by all parties is viewable at this URL. But I can also go to files, and I'll be able to have this signed contract right here as a document. I can click on it, and it's going to ask me to download it, and when I open it, I'll be able to see the signed contract in a PDF format. And here's that PDF version of it. You can see all the details in here. If I scroll down, the more important thing that you want to look at are the electronic signatures. So Mithil Patel, December 4th at 2040, and then Moshe Mizrachi at 2041. Signature, digital signature, and then we also have the audit log over here. So contract is sent to Mithil Patel at this time, viewed by Mithil Patel, address verified, signed, contract sent to next party, viewed, address verified, signed, and then final document signed over here. So the same audit log in the system is the one that's on the actual document itself. And now you have an enforceable contract for this property. It's tied to your account. It's in your account under the files, and now you're ready to dispo it. If you ever want a JV, same kind of deal. You come over to your contracts, generate a new contract. You take one of the JV templates that you have or that we have, and you can use it, or you can sign up for your own account. Put in your own template, connect your API key, and then use that based on whatever templates you want. All those will be customizable, so you can have complete flexibility over this entire process. Now that's part of it for the main core features. There are other couple, like the question mark up here, which takes you to our tutorials page, and this gives you a bunch of resources that can help you if you're trying to learn the platform or if you need help with wholesaling in general. It also has a download link to the Chrome extension, which can be found here. So if you're a paid member, you can go ahead and download that. And then you have a headset over here for support. So if you got a support bug request or feature request, then you go ahead and submit that over here with any details, and then I will see that. I'll be able to help you with getting that solved. So that was a long breakdown, but that was a very comprehensive breakdown. If after this you are still unsure what the system does, then I need to go get myself checked because I probably didn't explain anything right. But this should hopefully give you an idea of what exactly the system does, and it will allow you to put yourself in a better position to determine if this is the system that is right for you to help you with your wholesaling journey or your investment journey as a whole, because this tool is meant for more than just wholesaling. It's meant for any investor who's looking to streamline their workflow, scale their inputs, and save a bunch of time. So with that being said, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, put it in the comments down below, wherever this video is posted, wherever comment section, or reach out to us in our Discord. I will also put our Discord link in wherever this video goes.